When it comes to task automation and operations management, scripting language like PowerShell is an amazing tool in hands of any administrator. Today I will show you introduction into Azure PowerShell, a powerful tool for management of Azure resources. Stay tuned. So let's start with PowerShell. What is PowerShell? It's a scripting language delivered by Microsoft to allow you for easy task automation and configuration management. It's a command line shell interface where you run a simple commands and control your environment. And with recent introduction of PowerShell Core, you can also run it on Mac OS or Linux because it was made cross-platform in August 2016. Each task in PowerShell is executed by something called commandlets. Each commandlet contains something called verb. This verb describes what action will be taken. For instance, get process retrieves a list of processes. Join path joins a multiple strings into singular one. And connect PowerShell session, you can probably figure this out on your own, because a well-designed commandlet will tell you what it will do without you needing to check for documentation. And of course, all those commandlets are parameterized to ensure that you can actually write anything that you need by simply using parameters. And what is Azure PowerShell in this case? It's a set of commandlets that Microsoft delivered to allow you to manage your Azure resources directly from the PowerShell. The common scenarios for this are pretty much the same as for CLI. So it's day-to-day operations like automation of repetitive tasks, scheduling, deployments, DevOps scenarios. Maybe you're just learning, then PowerShell is also great because of that all the IntelliSense and all the documentation that is behind it. And last but not least, achieving things that are hard otherwise. And what I mean here is that usually you will want to create multiple resources at the same time, or maybe interconnect those resources together on the runtime, and because some of their properties will be created dynamically. PowerShell is great for those kind of scenarios. And what are the basics? Of course, when you will go to Google and you will start searching for stuff around Azure PowerShell, you will find both Azure RM and AZ modules. And for you to understand it, Azure RM, which is shorthand for Azure Resource Management, is the old modules, and the new modules are called AZ. They're not a different modules, it's just the renamed version of the modules from some version. So moving forward, the new modules are recommended. And the installation is very simple. Simply run 2 commands and you're ready to go. So what happens if you found Azure RM scripts on the internet or some blogs, or you already have some old modules? Can you upgrade? Yes, you can, because there's a compatibility commandlet which allows you to install the new modules but still run the old Azure RM scripts effectively. So you simply run enable Azure RM alias and your old commands will be analyzed for the new ones, so you can simply run it without any hiccups. So what are the demos for today? First of all, I will show you how to install it, how simple the installation is. Then I'm gonna show you the simple commands. I'm gonna log into Azure. I'm gonna give you overview of the commands. I'm gonna be listing and querying resources. I'm gonna show you how to pipe parameters and outputs in PowerShell for some more advanced scenarios. Then we're gonna do a simple demo where I will create a resource group and virtual machines using PowerShell. And lastly, I will show you some tools, including PowerShell in a CloudShell. So let's move forward. So this is a simple virtual machine that I created in Azure to show you the installation of PowerShell. You simply need to open Windows, hit on PowerShell, run it as administrator, and you need to run the command. So let's open it full screen and paste the command. And now just simply import those modules. After importing is completed, you can start typing connect AZ, and as you see, I hit Control space and it filled it in. That means everything seems to be working just fine. And this is how simple the installation goes. So let's go to the portal for a second. First of all, notice what kind of resource group that I have. I have 5 resource groups, and I have only very few resources, like my storage accounts and the virtual machine that we just used for this demo. And this is what we're gonna be working with today. So let's go to PowerShell. This is the normal Windows PowerShell window. that every one of us has on our machines. So in order to connect to Azure, you need to run a simple command called connect. And when you will start typing like con, you can already press Ctrl space to get IntelliSense. So Ctrl space, and as you see, you get all possible options. And the Ctrl connect AZ account is the one that we want. You press enter, you type dash, and again you can hit Ctrl space to get all the parameters available to this connect AZ account. Fortunately, connect AZ account does not require any, so I can just press escape and hit Ctrl and actually enter. And now I need to log in, of course. So adam@marczek.io. I need to select my account because I have two under same ID. And I need to provide a password. Once I'm logged in successfully, you will see my account information, my subscription name, and my environment. Now we successfully connected to Azure using our account. First of all, you always can confirm what kind of account you are currently working on by typing get AZ. And this is the key word. Every single command right after the verb will have AZ prefix. So you know, like new AZ, get AZ, select AZ, everything within Azure modules is followed by this prefix. So to get the current session, you type get AZ con, and let's see what kind of options do we have. And the one we want is get AZ context. Using this command, you can see what kind of environment you are logged in right now. And one of the important things about PowerShell and CLI in general is that all the commands are working on a single subscription at the time. So if you're working with many subscriptions, remember to run a command at first that is called select AZ subscription and provide a subscription name and type your subscription name. In my case, that would be Visual Studio Enterprise NPN. This will make sure that this is the current subscription that you're invoking all the commands on. This is especially important if you're creating resource groups because you don't want to create them on an incorrect subscription. So what next? First of all, let's try to list the resource groups that we just seen. To do that, you need to type get. So get means return, AZ as always the prefix, and res. Let's see what kind of options we have, and there's a resource group here. Hit enter, and as you see, those are all the resource groups that we have on this subscription. What can you do with this? First of all, you can do a lot, but to do a lot, you need to actually start using something called pipes. This is a pipe. This allows you to grab the output of the command into another command. And in PowerShell, this is a very powerful feature to get a lot of advanced features. And for instance, what you can do is type format table. And instead of that list, you're gonna get a table. You can do, of course, format list. This will return almost the same stuff. You can do format wide, which is like a simpler version of what you just seen. But what is interesting is that you can also type, for instance, export CSV to export your outputs from the previous command directly into CSV. This is one of very good ways to do operations and auditing. What is also cool is that you can do out grid view, which will simply make a pop-up on your screen that you can actually start selecting. And amazing stuff about this is if you add additional parameter called pass-through, it will allow you to grab this output to the screen. And notice that when I do it now and I select, let's say, 3 subscriptions as 3 resource groups and hit OK on the bottom, notice that I got 3 subscriptions as an output. This way you can make interactive sessions for users to run using PowerShell very easily and automate your Azure based on your needs. What else can you do? Well, as you can imagine, when you run resource groups, you are provided with a lot of information. Maybe you don't want all of those information for the next comments. To do that, you just again pipe and type select. And in select, of course, Control space will see what is the result from the previous command and allow you to select what kind of columns do you want. So I want resource group name and maybe a location. So this is like a SQL query. When you do it, you get a subset of the previous response with only the columns that you want. You can also do filtering. To do filter, you just type where object. Filtering is a bit more complicated because you need to provide an expression function, which goes like this. $_ is the current object, dot, what kind of property we are filtering on. Let's say we're filtering on location. And what kind of filter do we want? Let's say dash equals. And what do we want to be equals to? Let's say North Europe. And simply run it, and as you see, we got only resource groups from North Europe. And of course, piping allows you to pipe everything together. So you can use, again, select resource group name and location, and filter and select at the same time. Very powerful feature, a lot of stuff that you can do with it. So take a full advantage of it. Remember, for brevity, you can also do multi-line. So just type this. It's a tick sign. Again, the tick sign. And you can do multi-line scripting to get them more consistent and more easy to read from the perspective of the maintenance. Now that we know how PowerShell works, we can actually go and start creating a real demo. In this demo, I'm going to create a resource group, and in that resource group, I'm going to create a virtual machine. So let's do that. So first of all, to create a new resource group, we need to type verb new and followed by AZ for the modules, res for the resource group, find the new AZ resource group command, type dash, control space, and name. So I'm gonna call it AM demo, dash, control space, location, space, and control space to get a list of the regions. So in my case, that will be North Europe. And hit enter. This will create an AM demo resource group in North Europe location. Now that I have my location, I can use that to create a new virtual machine. So of course, new azvm, control space. As you see, there's a command like that. So I'm gonna use it, space dash. And what do we need to provide? I know we need to provide the resource group name. That's gonna be AM demo. Dash. What else do we need to provide? A location. So again, space, control space. I want this also to be in North Europe. Again, space, dash, control space. And what I need to provide is a name. So name is here. I'm gonna call it VM demo. And dash, control space. I know that I also need to provide an image. So an image, control space. And as you see, a list of available images like Ubuntu LTS. If everything will work here, we can already create this virtual machine. So let's try that. As you see, it said that I didn't provide everything, and that was intended, because what I need also to provide is, as you see, supply values for the following parameters. Credential. I didn't provide credentials for this VM, so I need to do that. So I'm gonna call it AM demo admin and provide any kind of password and hit enter. That's actually very good in PowerShell that whenever you don't supply all the parameters, it will ask you for all the missing required parameters. And as you see, it's currently creating a virtual machine in Azure for me. So let's wait for that. And it's done. As you see, creating virtual machine using PowerShell is very easy. We can of course go back to the portal to confirm it's there. So we can open our resource groups panel, see our new AM demo resource group, and see the VM demo that we just created. That was super simple, and it just required us 2 commands. We can of course clear the screen and continue working. Of course, besides Windows PowerShell, you have more options when it comes to tooling. First of all, you can use PowerShell ISE, Integrated Shell Environment, which first of all gives you a text editor, so a multi-tab experience where you can create multiple scripts, save them, load them, shell command on the bottom, and the list of available resources. And of course, as you see, you get also IntelliSense here, or just by typing here, connect AZ. And as you see, as soon as it recognizes the commands, it will also give you the IntelliSense experience. And you can do much more powerful scripts here, because it's a full script environment. You just press Ctrl S and everything is saved. Besides ISE, you can also use Visual Studio Code. So in Visual Studio Code, you'll get a similar experience. As soon as your file is of PS1 extension, or on the bottom you have selected language for PowerShell, you can also start using PowerShell commands, and you also will get the IntelliSense connect AZ, right? That's amazing. I prefer Visual Studio Code from all of the tools that I'm using it the most, but it's up to preference, whatever you like to use. And of course, when it comes to PowerShell, you can do a lot of stuff. And what kind of stuff? Let's do a demo where we're gonna create 10 storage accounts at the same time, very easily, very fast. So first of all, we need a variable called RG, which will contain a resource group name for us. And it's gonna be amdemo. We're gonna make a for each loop in which we're gonna iterate for 10 times. And that's actually double dot and open brackets. So from 1 to 10, we're gonna create a new storage account. That means within this loop, we need to type new AZ storage account, and of course dash resource group name. We need to provide this $RG dash. We need to provide it a name, and that's gonna be amdemo storage, and then $E. So this will append the iteration number. So it's gonna be amdemo storage 1, amdemo storage 2, 3, 4, up to 10. And next, we need to provide an SKU name, control space. In our case, that's gonna be standard LRS, because those are the fastest ones to be created. Again, dash. We need to provide also location, and that's gonna be for us control space to get the list of locations. And I want North Europe. Actually, I wanted North Europe here. North Europe. And not to wait for each storage account to be created in a loop, you can also add dash as job parameter, which means they will run in the background. If you want to make it nicer, use tick signs to break a line. Again here, again here, again here, again here. This looks much better. And you simply select everything, press F8 and run the script. And everything runs in parallel. This is how easy it is to run PowerShell commands in parallel in Azure. And if we go back to Portal and start refreshing, in just a couple of seconds, we're gonna start seeing our storage accounts being created. So let's wait for a second. As you see, within just minutes, we wrote a script that created 10 storage accounts, identical configuration, very easily, very fast. This is how powerful the script is. And the very last demo that I have for you today is CloudShell. CloudShell allows you to run PowerShell in a cloud directly from your browser. And you can do it twofold. You can either press this button to open a CloudShell window. Let me do that. You can actually scroll it up a little bit. And it requires you to mount a storage. This is because, as you can imagine, when running those commands, some temporary files must be created. And to do so, you need to have a storage. To mount a storage to the CloudShell, you need to click Show Advanced Options. Select the resource group where your storage will be residing. You can, for instance, select amdemo that we just created. You can use existing storage account, or you can create a new one. I'm gonna call it amdemo store 1, and I'm gonna copy that same here. This will create a new storage account for the purpose of the CloudShell only. After this is created, we can simply run the commands. So let's skip ahead. So the CloudShell initialized, but the first thing you'll notice, this is not actually PowerShell, it's CLI. And to change to PowerShell, simply hit this button and click PowerShell, confirm, and it will switch CloudShell to run PowerShell. Of course, we can increase the font if you want to get the large one, and we can run the PowerShell commands. Very first thing that you will notice that you don't have to run connect AZ account, because this inherits your session from the browser. So simply typing now get AZ resource group, press enter, and you get resource group without any login in. It's not ideal experience, as it's not as good as in Visual Studio Code or ISE or even PowerShell command line. But if you don't want to install anything, you're maybe working remotely, CloudShell is an amazing alternative that allows you to run PowerShell very easily. And of course, couple things to notice, you can also run it by using shell azure.com to get a full screen session of the CLI and PowerShell as well in the CloudShell. And here, of course, it's still picking up SSO, so it's logging you into Azure without you running any commands, and you can simply start writing commands like usual. So get AZ resource group, and you get all the resource group. You can type ls to access local storage, mkdir demo to create folders if you need, or what's amazing, you can type code dot to get a local editor that looks like a Visual Studio Code and allowing you to write scripts in a browser directly here and run them from the CloudShell. This is how great it is. Quick recommendation, use shell-azure.com for demos, quick scripts, quick demos, maybe quick auditing. But usually I recommend you to get full that experience that Visual Studio gives your ISE, because it gets more IntelliSense, more natural feel, integration with Git. So it's much better in the long run. This is a good for very quick stuff, or training even. There is so much more than you can do with PowerShell. Parallel processing, extensions, integration with .NET, operation management, task automation, process automation, integrating with other Azure services like Azure Functions or Azure Automation. Pretty much the possibilities are endless. It's up to you to integrate, cover your scenarios, and automate pretty much anything you are doing for your daily operations. That's it for today. Hit a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and see you next time.